kidnap her and bring her to Bakersfield for like a whole month. She ain't been in a while though.
You love your mom.
Oh, for sure.
So by the intro, I'm sure you've already figured out which one of us is older.
Yeah. Man, dude, 75 minutes will take a toll on your back. This race broke Ben's back.
Yeah. It's going to take a while for me to recover from this one. Nice start, Will, for the second time in a day.
Yeah, man, this was the only time I moved up in this field. So
Yeah, I'm not going to show my start here, but you can probably imagine what that would have looked like.
Yeah. So this was the pro field. We'd done the 2-3, about an hour before, and man, it's pretty cool hopping in this race. This was our first pro race together. So.
Oh yeah, that's right. And your second pro race, so you're the veteran out of the two of us.
Yeah, I'm just a lot more savvier than Ben is at this point.
That'll play out in this race. I want to thank James. We might see James in the footage. Him and Will talked me into doing this. I really didn't want to sign up for this race.
Yeah, James is the real pro field vet. He was doing it all last year, and I was like, man, I guess this is possible.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So, like, anyone who's started racing has, at one point, wondered what something like this would be like. And just like, 12 months ago, we were doing 4.5, and now this is the fastest race of the day. How did you, envision this to be before you did it?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was really intimidating for me. I mean, I don't know if everybody would do this, but I would try to stay after we race, the 4s and the 5s were so early in the day, but if we could, I would try to stay to watch this race from the sidelines, just so I could just see what it felt like. And honestly, for the longest time, I was like, yeah, I'll never be ready for that. And
it's like if you watch it and you're watching a 2-3, or in our case, we were racing 4, and it's just it's obviously faster.
Yeah, it really is. I mean,
the noise is different.
Yeah, and the field's always bigger too, it seems like. So but really, I mean, with drafting, we ended up. I think we both ended up averaging lower power in this than the 2-3.
I haven't checked mine. I'll just say that it felt smoother. So the actual experience was, there's actually control on the front because people are getting paid to keep the pace up and to take care of, those kinds of flyers that usually disrupt lower level races.
Yeah. We're mainly talking about Corey Lockwood up there.
Oh yeah, shout out to Corey Lockwood. I know you don't know who we are, but we kind of come from the same area.
Yeah.
Corey has all the KOMs, all the segments where we come from.
Yeah, and that's him passing me on the left actually.
Oh, cool.
We timed that nicely. But yeah.
It's so nuts, racing with people who are known.
Yeah, racing with people, if you Google them, stuff pops up. Yeah.
So I don't have video footage of this, but I was starstruck the whole time, and I got up closer to Legion and Corey Williams, and so I tried to do a 2-3 move, which is you just kind of edge into a corner. And he did not give me any space at all, and I learned so much in a few milliseconds there than I think I would have in a season before. It's just a completely different level of racing.
Yeah. I mean, everybody here is just savvy, and I think not to put anybody on a pedestal, but I mean, everybody's. You can tell that people are more experienced.
There's another thing too. So in last season we were doing 4s, and in the previous season it was more 5 for the most part. And I remember getting pushback about the commentary that we would make, because they're the internet, the collective internet. It's well, you're not qualified to provide race commentary. And to that point, racing a 5 is like a different sport to racing in this field, and it requires completely different strategy. I'd gotten to the point where I'd pretty much figured out like how to be competitive at a lower level, and this is like, it's like baseball to football. It's like a completely different sport at this point. And the tactics are, I mean, even 2-3 to this, like the moves that you would make earlier in the day do not fly over here.
Yeah, well, I mean, anytime you get out of the draft, you realize just how hard it is.
Yeah, and then on top of that too, you have like actual teams where the jerseys signify that the tactics are happening. Lead out trains are protected, they're respected. You have to watch out which position you're taking and why, and there's just like a level of, I guess, order and control that I just hadn't experienced firsthand before.
Yeah, and well, we're at 5 to go, and you know, I think another thing too is like, and we already been talking about like the 2-3s, but like trying to do those like last lap, like I'm gonna move up 20 spots, like
yeah.
For like in this thing, at least for me, like once you got, you know, with 5-4 to go, like it's hard to move up at that point. You know, you kind of get locked in.
I think that's like one of the main differentiators here too, which is like, so at this point you have people that are like salaried to do a specific job in the race, and Legion is probably the prime example. And we were talking about Lockwood, he's riding for Blazers, which is Legion with another name, or at least that's my understanding.
In this race, it appeared that Legion and the Blazers guys were all working together.
Yeah, but to that point, it's like, so if you're moving up positions, even up to 2-3, it's still gonna kink up, and you're gonna be able to make up that spot. But here, people, their first and last job is to prevent that from happening. And the effect of that on the mid-pack, which is where we are, is it's a lot more controlled for the most part. The speed maintains a lot higher for the most part. And you really get locked into position a lot earlier than you would in a different type of race.
Yeah, so, and I mean, that's not to say it's not possible to move up, but I think you do have to be more on your toes. I mean, that guy's moving up there, but
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, it's yeah, I mean, the race is harder too, so it's like, you know, your legs aren't as fresh at this point.
My body was, so like, the first time I'd cramped in a really long time was at Santa Barbara, and that's because that turned into a team time trial, and they were just putting out power for like 2.5 hours. Yeah. And here I start to cramp up about here, and my body just kind of stops working. My back is on fire, and I don't know, like I hadn't felt like my body betrayed me like this in a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, again, I mean that 2-3 race. I mean, we already talked more about, you know, Roger Millikan, like the course itself, but you know, this is not an easy crit. You know, it's pretty, like, for me, it's like more mentally taxing than your average one. You know,
That's true. That's a good excuse. I should have loved that.
but like, yeah, I mean, it's a hard crit, and like I said, like I did. This was like the most power I did in a crit. Like in this race for me, it was like 220 average power, but like my normalized was like 270, I thought, which is like, that's a lot for like, you know, a 70-minute crit. So I mean,
Not true.
And that was just to finish mid-pack. Like I didn't do anything crazy. So
Yeah, totally. It's like, so the thing that I really focused on and what clicked for me in the last season in the fours was that you've just got to perfect your corners. If you want to be there at the end, if you're taking the corner with the wrong line and you're repeating that over the course of 45 minutes, it's going to expose you. And here, like, that level of racecraft isn't like an option to be competitive. It's necessary to finish.
it's just a bare minimum.
Oh yeah, totally. And everyone's operating at that level. So like, you find yourself really, really hesitant on hitting brakes, letting off power, losing momentum, because you know that you're really going to be punished if you are not smooth.
Yeah. And probably yelled at too.
Judged by people who are qualified to judge you. A lot of these guys have day jobs, but there's plenty of people over here where it's like just find the most professional wheel, get behind it, and take notes. I know that's where I spent most of my race. I don't have footage of that. I started recording late, but you find these people that are known, and the way that they race. I know, like, following like Corey Williams' wheel, like, he does not race like I race. Like, he's the real deal. I'm a guy that should probably grow up, and it really shows. It really does if you see the way that they go.
So,
how are you feeling at the end of this?
Yeah, I mean, I was tired, and I wanted to bring up like another thing. Like, I feel like at this point, like, you actually have to like be on your nutrition game and like carb up through this day.
That's true, yeah.
Like, because that was a big change from like last year too. Even if we did the 4-5 and the 4, like, you're racing for what, an hour?
Yeah.
Like combined. And this with like the 2-3, if you do that, like, we have an hour in between. Then this, like, you're at 2 hours of, you know, high intense like crit racing. Like, you really gotta carb up. It's not really optional, at least for me.
The thing that really surprised me about this, because you talk about normalized power, but I think on top of that too, is it's just like, it's really mentally taxing to like ride at 35 miles an hour in a peloton, and you know that you can't make those mistakes. And I had some lapses during here where I almost crossed wheels and it got sketchy, and you just have to be on your toes the whole time. And it's not just the power, it's not just the speed, it's the fact that you have to be on for 75 minutes. And it is the last race of the day. This isn't the first one that we're doing.
So I mean, well, we're getting toward the end here, and you can see how much faster it is. I think this is Lockwood stringing it out, and then it went into like the Legion lead out. And you can see Ben and me are right next to each other, and
you're gonna see something happen here, and I think it's me committing suicide by wind. Is that what this is?
Yeah, you can see just like how crazy strung out is. I mean, we're probably like what, 50th, 60th wheel here.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just insane to look at. Like, I know I found myself like,
that's a good corner.
Yeah, that was cool. I found myself just like looking, like, I'm like, where's the front? Like I couldn't even see the front, like, when I would like look through corners. Like, it was crazy.
Oh, this is freaking painful. I was like, oh, this guy's ending his race. I need to move up here.
You got gapped off there.
I didn't realize this until like there was a huge gap.
Yeah, so we're like, I mean, we're with the group, I guess, but like, we're at the very back of it. I think we definitely could have done better here and moved up a little bit more. But
Can I contextualize this too? So the guy like right in front of Will is the guy who won the 2-3.
Yeah,
and we're over here like people are getting dropped off.
Yeah,
it's nuts.
Yeah, I think he was just tired too.
I'm sure he was tired. Yeah,
because like this is. Yeah, but yeah, so I mean, you can see here, I mean, it's just, the race is blowing up at this point. And
my only goal here is to beat Will. So let's see. Come on, let's go. Come on.
But yeah, that's what, I mean, I feel like nobody makes videos on this, but that's what, like, a 44th in place in a field of, what, 85 people or something?
Yeah.
That's what it takes to mid-pack a pro field. So
if you're like in 4-5 or 2-3 right now and you're curious, like, you can do it. You just have to be on it, I guess.
Yeah, you gotta be on it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really it. Yeah.
And drink a lot of sugar.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.